Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. Alexander Mattison might not have made headlines when the Dolphins signed him to a modest one-year, $1.3 million deal. But that low-risk move could end up being one of the most critical under-the-radar pickups of Miami's offseason. While everyone is focused on flashy names and big contracts, Mattison offers something this offense has desperately lacked: reliable short-yardage production. The Dolphins, despite fielding one of the most explosive units in the league under Mike McDaniel, struggled mightily in those gritty 3rd and 1 or 4th and inches moments. And in the NFL, those plays win games. That's where Mattison comes in. Standing at 5'11" and weighing 220 pounds, he's the kind of physical presence the Dolphins simply didn't have in their backfield last season. Sure, his 3.2 yards per carry in 2024 isn't eye-popping, but that stat alone doesn't tell the whole story. His real value lies in his consistency when the game's on the line and the yards get tougher. Now let's be clear, the Dolphins' offense didn't just regress in 2024. It plummeted from being second in yards per play to a painful 23rd. And while much of the spotlight went to Tua, Tyreek, and the banged-up offensive line, one of the most glaring issues flew under the radar: the inability to convert short yardage downs. Miami ranked 31st in 3rd and 1 success rate and completely whiffed on all 3 4th and 1 rushing attempts last season. That's not just bad luck, that's a pattern. Whether it was a chain trying to knife through heavy traffic at just 187 pounds, or exotic trick plays gone wrong, nothing worked when they needed a yard or two. Mattison changes that equation. In 2024, he converted 12 of 16 attempts on 3rd or 4th down when needing 2 or fewer yards. That's exactly the kind of hard-nosed, no-nonsense reliability Miami has lacked in crucial moments. McDaniel's offense is known for its creativity, motion, and speed, but in the trenches, when it's 3rd and short, you need someone who can lower his shoulder and get it done. For all the flash Miami brings, it's been missing the smash. Mattison offers that punch. He's not being brought in to replace Devon Achane or take away from Raheem Mostert's role in the offense, but to complement them, especially in scenarios where finesse simply isn't enough. In short yardage and red zone situations, the Dolphins have often looked like they were trying to outsmart everyone. Rather than just lining up and winning at the point of attack, Mattison gives them that option. He doesn't dance in the backfield. He finds a crease and powers through it. And while fans may have overlooked the signing, you can bet McDaniel didn't. He knows exactly what kind of tool he just added to his offensive toolbox. And it's not just about brute force. One stat that jumps off the page: the Dolphins averaged just 1 broken tackle every 30 for .5 rushing attempts last season. That's a shocking figure for a team with so much offensive talent. Even though both Mattison and Achane each forced 7 missed tackles in 2024, Mattison did it at nearly double the rate, once every 18.9 carries compared to Achane's once every 29. Miami needs more than just speed in the open field. They need backs who can create yards after contact, keep their legs moving, and fall forward. That's what separates an average rushing attack from a reliable one. Achane may be a home run hitter, but Mattison is the guy who grinds out doubles and singles to keep the chains moving. That contrast, that balance, could be exactly what elevates Miami's run game into something much more dangerous. But let's not forget that Mattison's value isn't limited to grinding out tough yards. On the ground, he's also quietly become one of the league's more dependable receiving backs. In a Dolphins system that loves involving its running backs through the air, Miami ranked top 5 in RB targets the past 2 seasons. This is huge. Last season, Achane was targeted a whopping 87 times. Trailing only Alvin Kamara among all running backs, he delivered 2, catching nearly 90% of those passes for over 590 yards and 6 touchdowns. But with Mostert's targets now up for grabs, there's a clear need for someone else to step up. Mattison fits that role seamlessly. He's seen at least 44 targets in back-to-back years and caught 36 passes for nearly 300 yards with the Raiders. In 2024, that kind of versatility is exactly what McDaniel covets in his offense. Let's not forget about reliability. Mattison has dropped just 12 passes over his entire career, a testament to his hands and consistency. Compare that with a rookie like Jalen Wright, who was targeted just 6 times and caught only 3 passes for 8 yards. He's still developing. And while Ollie Gordon, the 6th-round pick and Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year, might have the size and potential. He'll need to prove himself in training camp before the staff can trust him in real game situations. Mattison, on the other hand, is already proven. He's experienced, he's physical, and he understands what it takes to operate in high-pressure scenarios. That kind of veteran presence in the backfield, especially one that's as affordable as Mattison, could end up paying massive dividends. As the season unfolds, if you're Mike McDaniel, the strategy is clear. Build layers into your offense. You already have speed and explosiveness on the outside with Hill and Waddle. You've got one of the most dangerous young backs in a chain, but defenses are catching up. With 3 seasons of film on McDaniel's scheme, they're starting to anticipate the motion, the misdirection, the jet sweeps. What they weren't ready for last year, and what Mattison now offers, is a change-up, a physical, no-frills counterpunch that says, fine, you want to stop the outside? We'll run it right down your throat. That kind of adaptability is what turns playoff teams into contenders. And if Miami truly wants to make a deep run in 2025, they'll need that gear. This move also signals something deeper about the Dolphins' evolving identity. They're no longer just trying to outrun teams, they're trying to outlast them. With the additions of guards James Daniels and Jonas Savania, alongside center Aaron Brewer, it's clear that Miami's trying to beef up its presence in the trenches. Sure, Brewer is still on the smaller side, but the overall philosophy has shifted. It's no longer about just finesse, it's about finishing, and Mattison is a finisher. When it's 3rd and 2 with the game on the line, you don't want a gadget play. You want a back who can find a crease, lower his pads, and get that yard. For all the Dolphins' previous fireworks, it's that kind of efficiency that turns potential into production. So no, Mattison won't be the most exciting name on the depth chart. He won't lead the team in highlights or jersey sales, but don't underestimate his impact. He's the type of player who wins games in December and January when it's cold, when the defense knows what's coming, and when every inch matters. He's the guy who gets to yards when the defense is stacking the box and daring you to run. He may not break 60-yard runs, but he'll move the chains when it counts. And when you've got someone like that in your backfield, you don't need to be flashy. You just need to be consistent. That's what Miami lacked last season. And that's what Mattison might finally bring to the table in 20-5. In the end, this signing could be remembered as the moment Miami's offense grew up. It's one thing to be fast and creative, it's another to be tough and balanced. Mattison represents a step toward that toughness, and while his contract might not make waves, his impact on the field just might, if the Dolphins can pair his short yardage reliability with the chain's explosiveness and TUA's precision, they'll be able to beat teams in more ways than ever before. That's how you build a Super Bowl contender, not just with stars, but with smart, strategic moves like this. So keep your eyes on number 2 in Aqua and Orange this fall. He might just be the most important player no one's talking about, yet still with us. Then show some love, hit that like button, and let us know in the comments, what's your take on the Fins this week? Let me tell you something that's been stirring up whispers around the league, something that, if it actually happens, could completely flip the script in the AFC and maybe even shake the very core of the NFC North. Word on the street is that TUA TAGOVAILOA, yes, that TUA, might be on the move. Can you believe it? After everything, after all the development, all the chemistry he's built with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle down in Miami, there are some serious rumblings that the Dolphins could be entertaining offers. And not just from any team but from the Minnesota Vikings, of all franchises. Now, this isn't just some wild social media post either. Multiple sources close to both organizations have started suggesting that there's smoke here, and as we all know in the NFL, where there's smoke, there's usually fire. Now let's break this down, because I know a lot of you are sitting there going, why would Miami even consider letting go of their franchise quarterback? And it's a valid question. Tua's coming off arguably his best season yet. He's proven he can be accurate, dynamic, and lead an explosive offense. But here's the thing, the Dolphins still haven't locked him down to a long-term deal. We're deep into the offseason and contract talks have reportedly stalled. There's frustration growing on both sides, and Tua's camp is reportedly feeling a bit disrespected. They believe he's earned his payday. Meanwhile, Miami seems hesitant, maybe even nervous, to hand him the kind of megadeal quarterbacks are demanding these days. Could this be a negotiation tactic? Sure. But could it also be the Dolphins quietly exploring their options? While they still have some leverage, you better believe it. And that brings us to the Vikings, a team that's clearly entering a transitional era. They let Kirk Cousins walk, They've got young blood in the QB room, and yet they're not quite ready to hit the full rebuild button. Minnesota still has Justin Jefferson, one of the best receivers in the league, and a coaching staff that wants to compete now, not 3 years from now. So what do you do when you're stuck between rebuilding and contending? You make a bold move. You roll the dice, and from what we're hearing, the Vikings have already put in a formal offer for TUA, something that has reportedly caught the attention of Miami's front office. Now, the exact terms haven't been leaked yet, but sources say it's a package that includes multiple high picks and at least one young defensive starter from TUA's side. Things get even more intriguing. Despite being a Hawaii native who's flourished in the warm weather of Miami, insiders claim he's not dismissing the idea of playing in Minnesota. In fact, there are hints that he's open to a change of scenery, especially one that might come with the kind of contract he's been waiting for. We're told TUA has already had preliminary conversations with his agent about how such a move could reshape his career trajectory, and let's be real, folks, sparing TUA's pinpoint accuracy with Jefferson's route running. That's the kind of combo that dreams are made of. There's even talk that TUA's camp has quietly started doing some homework on the Vikings organization, the coaching staff, and even real estate in the Minneapolis area. It's not a done deal, but it's being taken seriously. Of course, this rumor is lighting up Dolphins Nation, and not in a good way. Fans are split. Some believe Miami should stick with their guy and get the extension done. Others feel this is the perfect time to sell high, cash in, and look to the future, maybe even aim for a younger, cheaper quarterback in the next draft. But let's not forget, this is a team that's been flirting with win-now mode for the past 2 years. If they move TUA, they better have a plan B ready to roll. Could it be a trade up in the draft? Could they have their eye on another veteran QB? These are the questions swirling around Miami's headquarters right now. And the fact that none of the executives are shutting down the rumors, that silence is deafening. Meanwhile, the Vikings front office is reportedly operating with stealth and urgency, with the NFC North potentially up for grabs and teams like the Packers and Lions still figuring themselves out. Minnesota season opening. They know a dynamic quarterback could be the final piece to make a deep playoff run. League insiders are saying that the Vikings have even gone so far as to create multiple trade packages, depending on how hard the Dolphins push back. Some include players, some are strictly draft capital, but all of them show one thing: Minnesota is serious. This isn't some casual phone call. This is a team that smells opportunity and is ready to pounce. And if the Dolphins show even a flicker of interest, don't be surprised if things move fast. What makes this even juicier is how TUA has handled everything publicly. So far, he's stayed quiet, professional, composed, focused on football as he always says. But sources close to him are saying he's not unaware of what's happening. He knows his value. He knows what he brings to the table. And more importantly, he knows there are teams out there that would make him their guy in a heartbeat. TUA's already proven he can silence critics. Now, the question is whether he wants to keep doing that in Miami or take his talents somewhere new and potentially reshape the NFC. If he gets traded and thrives in Minnesota, that's a storyline the league won't stop talking about for years. For Miami, this could be one of those defining franchise decisions. Do you commit to TUA and hope he elevates your team to championship level, or do you pivot, take the picks, and try to reset before your window closes? Remember, this front office already showed they're not afraid to make aggressive moves. They've gone all in on players like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Ramsey in the past. Could this be the next bold swing, or would trading TUA be the mistake that haunts them? That's what makes this situation so fascinating. The margin for error is razor thin, and both franchises could look completely different depending on what happens in the next few weeks. As for the fan reactions, buckle up, because if this deal even inches closer to reality, you can expect absolute chaos online. Dolphins fans are already buzzing. Vikings fans are cautiously optimistic. And neutral fans, we're all just grabbing popcorn and waiting to see if this blockbuster trade becomes the headline of the offseason. Will TUA become the face of a new era in Minnesota? Will Miami double down and keep him as their franchise cornerstone? Or is this just a rumor meant to stir the pot? During a quiet stretch of the offseason, time will tell, but one thing's for sure: this story is far from over. So keep your eyes peeled and your notifications on, because if this trade goes through, it might just be one of the most shocking quarterback moves we've seen in recent years. TUA, TAGOVAILOA in purple and gold. It's not confirmed, but it's not out of the question either. And if you're a Dolphins fan waking up to this rumor, don't say we didn't warn you. This league moves fast, and quarterbacks, no matter how beloved, are always one negotiation away from packing their bags. Stay tuned. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up!